Construction of a Spiritual Garden is the Core of a Civilized Society by Shuifeng. Invisible factors determine the nature of visible phenomena. For humanity to step into a civilized society relying on visible elements such as systems, power, laws, wealth distribution mechanisms, weapons, relief efforts, or charity is futile. Only by purifying the hearts of every global citizen and ensuring that there are no weeds or poisonous plants in their spiritual gardens can this be achieved. A person's behavior is determined by their consciousness. Consciousness is akin to a spiritual garden, and its composition decides whether the garden is beautiful or ugly. When someone's consciousness is filled with worship and pursuit of money and power, a sense of superiority over others, and psychological elements like comparison, jealousy, hostility, and greed, they are bound to bring harm to others in society. If the spiritual garden is not well cultivated, officials will become corrupt and abuse their power, intellectuals will flatter the powerful and distort facts, merchants will engage in fraud and sell counterfeit goods, businesses will substitute inferior products and produce toxic items, and ordinary people will resort to trickery and mutual harm. Vices such as indulgence in alcohol, gambling, promiscuity, theft, and deceit will prevail. Seasons will lose their order, society will descend into chaos, and few will achieve a beautiful life. When the spiritual garden is neglected, the operational costs of society will skyrocket. Interactions between people will be riddled with conflicts and disputes. Trustworthiness will disappear, and individuals will become selfish, deceitful, and cunning. Relationships, whether familial, friendly, or romantic, will be reduced to tools for personal gain. Officialdom, commerce, and romance will become battlefields and gambling tables. Those in power will live in fear of destruction, the wealthy will dread abduction, and the common people will turn into mobs. Does the existence of nations have value? Nations have existed for thousands of years, but what have they truly brought to humanity apart from wars, plunder, barriers, and borders? With every country prioritizing its own interests, as exemplified by the notion of America First, the inevitable result is brutal competition and the absence of peace. The strong will dominate, the weak will live in fear, and examples like nuclear threats and coercion are evident. Do religions have value? Religions have also existed for thousands of years, but have they brought peace, happiness, prosperity, or tranquility to humanity? Can souls numbed by dogma experience true joy, freedom, or happiness? Can closed-off minds still fantasize about reaching heaven? Do laws have value? Every country has laws, voluminous and encompassing, but have they prevented wars and conflicts? Have they allowed the impoverished to lead prosperous, happy lives? Do they guarantee freedom of migration or the liberty to say no? Have they reduced crime rates? Consider the prevailing discourse on illegal immigration. If legal immigration were possible, who would risk their lives to migrate illegally? Who wouldn't love their homeland? If they could survive there, who would cross mountains and oceans to seek refuge elsewhere? What is law? Any measure, method, or channel that enables people to live joyfully, freely, and happily is law. Conversely, anything that hinders these aspirations cannot be called law. Earth itself is a small village in space. Allowing its inhabitants to migrate freely is true law. If illegal immigration is a crime, then everyone on Earth is an illegal immigrant because there were no humans when Earth was created. Where did you come from? Did you illegally migrate from another planet? The United States, apart from its indigenous peoples, is essentially a land of illegal immigrants. Its strength today owes much to these immigrants. Why expel illegal immigrants? Why not let all people on Earth migrate freely to the United States, turning Earth into a unified America? Wouldn't that be better? Places that strictly restrict outsiders are rarely civilized, enlightened, prosperous, or powerful. Every entrepreneur should reflect, where do you spend most of your time and energy? Is it not on handling interpersonal relationships? Isn't the cost of managing relationships incredibly high? If everyone's spiritual garden were harmonious, would you still need to lose sleep and worry? Every individual should ponder, are the things that trouble, pain, or worry you most in life caused by other people? Those in power oppress you, the powerless deceive you, and those close to you betray you. If the spiritual gardens of the people you encounter were perfect, where would toxic food, extortion, fraud, theft, or robbery come from? History needs reflection, Reality needs examination, and authority needs scrutiny. Otherwise, the path forward will become increasingly narrow and treacherous. The collective purification of humanity's spirit is the best path to a world of harmonious weather, universal peace, and a society where everyone enjoys a beautiful life. November 23rd, 2024.